Well, I got a neat little welding project here to do. I've got a loader bucket. It's pretty messed up. So these were just long cracks, and I've just cut them all out, widened them up a little bit. So this is like a quick attachment loader bucket, and it just seems to have stress cracks here, but only because things are getting thin. All across here to here, somebody had welded a big piece of steel on, and it I didn't know what it was hiding. When I cut it out, there's a huge, this is all thin and it just all cracks, so I've cut all that out. I'm just going to replace this with some mild steel. Like that. And then I've got these big troughs bent up in 4 separate pieces, 3/8 hard plate. And I'm going to weld them in 3 different places. Weld this all up solid. Trough will cover this, so there won't be any wear on that. I just needed something to fill that in. And I'm going to put the troughs in here and then weld them from the back side once I get them tight. And then I've got a piece of, so then I flip the bucket over and I can weld all that in all nice and neat like that. Grind it all off smooth, and I got a piece of 3/8 mild steel I'm going to weld from here down to here, notch it out, go up and around, and see if I can get this thing patched up and working again. So here's my 4 pieces of 3/8 hard plate I've got broke up. I'm going to try to fit them in there good and see what we end up with. Okay, so I've got this piece all welded in. I got to pretty much grind it flat without taking too much of the weld off. It's just so nothing, just so the liner has something to lay against. You don't want to have a hole in there. But yeah, I'm going to grind this all out and we'll see what happens. So in order to get this tight, we had to get creative with some scrap steel. We'll cut that all off and grind that off later. Let's get it nice and tight down there. Get it pushed in. Because this gap was down here. So now we got to get that pulled in. So I've got 3 out of the 4 liners put in, and it was a son of a bitch. They don't fit perfect. So if you ever get something like this broke up, get it so the back is tight, like down in here is tight, because it's easier to push that into the bucket and that into the bucket than it is to try to get the middle pushed down. You can see all the tack marks that we've got. We've had to weld scrap pieces, and we got a 20-ton jack, and we got this porta power in here pushing off these cutting edge bolts and tacks everywhere. I'm going to grind all those off so you don't see them when we're done. But it just shows you how much bullshit you got to go to get all these things real tight. And you don't want to cut corners and leave a big gap, because stuff gets underneath of them and it'll just rust its way up until it cracks out of there. So yeah. Try to get it nice and tight. It looks like there's a gap there, but that's a factory edge where it's kind of rounded. But it is nice and tight. And we'll get, I got one more piece to put in here. And we'll just fill that in. We'll get the welder cooking real hot. Don't worry about making a real pretty looking weld in there. Just get it real hot and melt all those 3 pieces together. And then we're gonna put a nice big weave all the way down through the whole thing so it looks nice and kind of cap that hotter weld. And yeah, one more piece to go. And then if you look back here, it's hard to see, but that crack, that plate's pretty tight to that. So we're gonna flip the bucket over so it's flat, and then I'm gonna put a nice big hot weld in there. And then I'm gonna fill it with the cap, then I'm gonna grind it off smooth so you can't even tell. And then I'm gonna put a piece of 3/8 mild steel from here, notch it out around there, down, and just go all the way over there just to hide that and strengthen that up. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can get this welded up. I got the welder cranked way up high. We call it nuclear mode. And you kind of get that, everybody wants to get that sound of bacon crackling, but when I'm doing something like this, it's real thick. It's just sizzling, so I want to get it real hot and mend those 2 pieces together. I'll see if I can kind of show you what it's going to sound like. Prop the video camera up for you. Hold on a second. Let's see how that turns out. So I've kind of decided to just leave it in nuclear mode and just weave in between these pieces real hot. It just seems to, it's time consuming, but it seems to melt in there and just kind of get everything melted together. Leaves me a nice big area there. I'll fill in with probably 1, maybe 2 more passes. And keep in mind that's like a 1/2 inch wide, right? So if I just keep weaving all the way up, I think it's gonna hold really well. And then we'll fill it with a nice big cap. So I don't know if the weld will wear out faster than the plate. Probably will, so make sure it's raised up higher than the plate and not flush with it, I suppose. But yeah, I think that's going to work pretty good. Well, this is day 3 on the loader bucket. Been getting it pretty good here. Got it all filled in nice. And I still got to put a nice couple beads on the top. And the bottom's a little light, so I'm going to put some on there too. But I was just finishing up this corner. And I think I ran out of wire. So there goes a whole, I think they're 40 pounds, these spools. And yeah, 40 pound spool gone. So let's check it out. She gone. Hey, got her all welded up. Pretty happy with it. Looks good. Just, nice big welds in there. Got it all the way around everything. So, got all those welds, all those tacks and stuff to grind off. But let me get this big bitch flipped over and we'll take a look at the back side. We still got to do that too. So it's coming along pretty good. Quite happy with it. A lot of welding, a lot of cramped legs and sore back and everything else, but we're gonna keep going. All right, got her flipped over, and yeah, check this shit out. So these were cracks. I took the torch and cut around the cracks just to make them wide enough that I can get to the layer below them. But the problem is they've been cracked for a while, so I don't know if you can tell, but look how that's sticking up. So I need to get that pushed down somehow. I got a bottle jack and I got some big pry bars and quarter power and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna tack some stuff up here and see if I can get this pushed down, because there's quite a gap under there. I need to close that up. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so I don't recommend this. It's fucking sketchy, but you know what? It works. It's pretty freaking close. I don't think I'm gonna get any better, and I don't want to kill myself trying, so I'm gonna tack this there and see what happens. So the last way I was doing it was just a little too sketchy, so I've kind of come up with this conglomeration. I just welded 2 nuts to this flat bar, and it was twisting, so I put this piece of channel on, and then I used a Johnson bar, and you can see I've been reefing on it because this bolt's twisting now. So, but I've got it really close. I think I'm going to stick with that. Could be something in behind there that I just can't see, or whatever. So, I'm going to give it a tack. Well, it's 4:30, so I'm gonna call it a day. I got these all, I got them all pulled in. I got a big fat weld on there. I'm gonna grind them smooth, and then tomorrow I'm gonna put a plate, big plate of 3/8, cover all that, go around there, cover all that. And probably have this done tomorrow. Just checked my gas, and I'm almost out of gas, so I'm kind of hope I get this project done before I got to run to town. But if I do, well, whatever. Anyways, peace out. All right, so day 4. I just got this little plate on the back I got to weld up. I've notched it out with a torch this morning. It looks like it's going to fit really well. I've got it marked out. I'm going to grind some paint off of it, and yeah, it's sitting really good. I just got them to put a little kick on it, and just to get the contour of the bucket, and that's pretty damn close. So I'm going to grind that out and slap that in there. I've got all the welds underneath. This ain't too hot. I've got them all welded pretty flat without taking too much stuff off, and I'll just cover that up, and then hopefully we won't get any more stress cracks there, because it can maybe focus some of the stress on this. So basically this will be welded solid to here, and then this is welded solid to the liners below it. So hopefully that quits cracking there. Anyways, so I just kind of want to show you like some of the ways I call it dog something down. So I got this, you could use a chisel, or you can cut a piece of steel into a wedge. You know, tack those two pieces of scrap together, pound that in there, and it just brings it down nice and tight. There's a little gap there, I could go a little bit more and get it punched in there. And just, you know, if you tack here, 2 small tacks here, once I get that wedge out of there, I can easily just hit the top of this with my mini sledge and it will pound right off. And you just grind the tacks off and you're all done. All right, it's finished. Check it out. That's the piece on the bottom there. Got that all welded in good. So that's where those two big cracks were. You got the cracks filled up and nice big patch over top of it. I think they'll have a hard time breaking that apart, but you never know. Got all the tacks ground off. That was a bit of a chore just doing that, but and really material would probably wear that off, but I don't like sending it back like that. So yeah, we got 3 big, they look like little 3 toboggans in there of 3/8 hard plate. Pretty happy. There's a lot of welding. Went through a whole spool of wire and almost a whole tank of gas. So there's a lot of welding, a lot of screwing around, but you know, it's about 3.5, 4 days of good work, so I'll take it. I'll get another 10 years out of this bucket. So it's hard to see. It's a 4.2 yard bucket. 950K. Cool. Fun stuff.